See, this event 12,800 years ago, we know now it was caused by fragments of a very large comet, and the work suggests that that comet may have been more than 100 kilometers in diameter, a small moon, which fragmented and broke up into multiple parts. And the evidence and the argument is that 12,800 years ago, several large bits of that debris fell out of the Taurid meteor stream and impacted with the Earth. When these impactors come in, they generate a huge amount of heat, and that was the liquidizing of a huge area of the North American ice cap instantly, and the floods that followed.
The sudden, rapid, catastrophic meltdown of the ice sheets, dumping millions of cubic kilometers of water back into the ocean basins.
10 million square miles of the Earth's surface, roughly Europe and China added together, was submerged by the rising sea levels.
Right.
Yeah, a mile high of ice.
Yeah.
Well, even more than that in some cases. Over central Canada, it might have been as much as 2 miles.
2 miles.
2 miles of ice.
Just pushing across the ground like an eraser.
Exactly. And what is called ejecta, superheated ejecta, is thrown up into the upper atmosphere, and it falls down all over the continent, and it sets the world on fire.
It's nature gone chaotic and crazy on ultimate steroids. Here what you have to visualize is a tsunami sweeping over the land that's over 1,000 feet deep. And the water here was moving down. It's filling this basin. It's rushing in a great tsunami from the north of fresh water, meltwater, coming off the ice sheet. And it's sweeping down over this land at probably 200 or 300 million cubic feet per second, which is an inconceivable amount of water. It's many times in excess of every river flowing on Earth, flowing today all at once. But you got to bear in mind, we're talking about, at the end of the last ice age, 120 roughly species of megafauna that disappeared, which is about equivalent to the same number of megafaunal species that inhabits the Earth today.
Well, it was a short period of time where something like 65% of the North American mammals went extinct?
75%.
75%.
Yeah. There are interesting studies that coming out now showing that at least continental-wide, there was apparently a major human population crash exactly coincident with the megafaunal extinctions, because you had quarries that had been mined for centuries that are suddenly abandoned. You have campsites that are suddenly abandoned.
These events, which are called extinction-level events, they reset the clock. They make everything start again. And this is why what happened in North America 12,800 years ago is so important, because that period, geologists call it the Younger Dryas, and it's a 1,200-year period. But that period stands right in the foundations of what we think of as the beginnings, the origins of civilization.
Whether it's the dispersion of languages, the beginning of agriculture, the first cities, the domestication of animals, what you see over and over again is the same dates showing up, 8, 9, 10,000 years ago.
And as more and more evidence comes in, we realize how widespread it was. So they found evidence of the impacts as far south as Antarctica now. Previously they were focused very much on North America, now as far south as Antarctica, as far east as Syria. This was truly a global event, and it changed the world. And I think, and it's my case, that it wiped our memory of a previous episode of human civilization, that right at the epicenter of this cataclysm was a civilization that we would regard as advanced, not a simple hunter-gatherer civilization, which was utterly wiped out.